There are times when I come in here and have an idea of where we're going, what direction we're going on with the show. Today is not one of those times. I believe we're going to talk a little California, but I'm not really 100% sure because Dominic Scelzi is our guest. And so it really could go anywhere.
Anywhere.
No idea. I plan on starting the conversation asking about California.
And about racing.
So I think we've narrowed it down to California and racing, and we still may end off the rails somewhere else because we're talking to Dominic Scelzi. The one thing you can say about Dominic Scelzi, he gets it honest because he's Gary's boy. Mm-hmm. Yes, and so it will be a great show. We're glad you joined us. She's Erin Evernham. I am Steve Post. This is Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils, and that's it. We're going to talk to Dominic Scelzi. I have no idea. Let's just get after it. Let's just get to it. Before we do that, though, take a listen and a watch at this. It was the Rev in Louisiana. The World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. It was Brad Sweet and David Gravel in One for the Ages. Here's Johnny Gibson with the call on Dirt Vision.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
David Gravel, Brad Sweet in the traffic down the front stretch with 4 laps to go. Sweet to the outside. Brad Sweet takes the lead once again. Gravel again looking to the inside in 3 and 4. There will be 3 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line, and David Gravel back in the lead.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
For decades, Dryden Lubricants has been made in America and made to last, paving the way on our highways, in our fields, and on the production line. Today, Dryden offers a complete line of engine oils, greases, hydraulic and transmission fluids, and diesel exhaust fluid. If you want greater performance and protection for your critical engines and equipment, go to Dryden.com. Dryden, American-owned and operated, and a proud supporter of racing and race fans everywhere. Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and DRF Racing Oils. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us from the great state of California is Dominic Scelzi. Hello, Dominic. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
How we doing, guys?
We are fantastic. How are you doing? Is the world treating you all right out there?
Boy, I'll tell you what, if life was any better, I'd be worried. Things have been going really good out here. Not just racing. Family's great. Business is great. Bought a new house. I mean, I'll tell you what, life's in a good place for me right now.
How about that? Bought a new house. That just means a honey-do list.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're getting in here at the end of the month, and I already have a list a mile long of everything we're wanting to do to it and spruce it up and make it our own. And boy, oh boy, it's exciting. You know, the place I've been in for about 4 years, and we never did a thing to it. We kept saying, "Oh, one day we'll move. One day we'll move." Well, here it is. So I'm really excited about that. Is there a lot of stuff to move? I mean, are you borderline hoarder, or are you pretty good at not hoarding things? What's that like? And I'll tell you what, I have about 20 helmets. I've got a helmet collection at my house that I slowly started moving out to my parents because I figured it'll probably be easier to take it from there to my new place. And other than that, I don't really have a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of clothes, a lot of helmets, and a lot of watches. I seem to collect a lot of stuff, but in all honesty, I think it'll probably just be a couple days of packing. I'm pretty good at getting rid of stuff that doesn't involve racing, so it'll be fairly easy. Especially with we're so excited to get in there. I'm going to be packing shit up and kicking them out the door as soon as the people leave the house.
Well, I don't really envy you because I'm going through a move right now.
Erin's going through a move too.
Man, it's not fun. And I'm not a hoarder, but it's still not fun.
it's amazing how much stuff you acquire.
We've been in our house for 12 years, and I feel like Ray and I are pretty OCD. Like, our house isn't that full, but anyhow.
I moved into my place. In 2007, 2008.
Oh, don't move.
And I had a beanbag chair and a black and white TV. And I swear to God, there are times I would love to go back to that.
Yeah. And don't move. If you've been in there that long, just remodel, fix it, whatever you do, don't move.
Dynamite. That's what I'm just doing.
Or that. That'll work. All right. So on a serious note, 2 wins in 9 days you had? Talk about that. I mean, you guys are killing it so far this year.
Man, I tell you what, we ended the year last season on a very high note. Seemed like, around June or July, we really started hitting our strides, and we never really slowed down. We had a couple, bad weekends, but we were fast. Seemed like everywhere we went. And then the end of last year, when we came home from finishing off the year with the Outlaws, when I was driving the 83 car, and we jumped back in my stuff, we were fast right off the bat at home. And then this year, we went to Arizona, and we got better every single night. We darn near beat Tony there on the last night. Unfortunately, we ran second, but it's just, to me, I'm seeing a progression that I've never seen out of our team before. It's very slow. It's very thought out. And I think, really it all falls on Jimmy Carr. Like, the guy is so good at what he does. We've, at first we were really good one night, then really bad one night. And we couldn't really get ourselves figured out. And we've gotten to the point now where he knows what I want and I know what he's thinking. And we're able to work together, and we're on the same page about stuff. And we almost have that. So, when we talk about it, we're thinking the same exact thing as we're talking. And this is somewhere I don't think I've ever been before. And I'm feeling really good. I've got so much confidence in what I'm doing behind the wheel. Got so much confidence in our equipment and what Jimmy's doing. I feel dangerous right now, and I'm loving it.
How important is that to be on the same page, and then to be on the same page with someone like Jimmy Carr, who has done it, seen it, been there, bought the program, sold the T-shirt, and done everything else? How important is that, though?
I think it's everything. When you're a race car driver, you have to click with the guy that's making the calls in the car, whether it's yourself or somebody else or whatever it is, whether you're driving a million different cars or one. If you and your crew chief are not in sync and not on the same page, there will be very little to no success guaranteed. You look at the guys throughout the years, when we've seen David Gravel win 20 races in a year and then come back and struggle to win a handful of races. We've seen guys like Donnie Schatz dominate, and struggle. So this sport is so difficult on any level. Whether you're racing with the World of Outlaws or running local racing, across the country, you really have to be on your game. And I think there's several factors. One being that Jimmy he's done it all. He's won it all. He's been everywhere. So nothing's new to him. And then for me, I'm racing right now with a belly aching fear of, one, slowing down, and two, not knowing when the next time I'm going to be able to race with the World of Outlaws. Because as you guys know, I'm not traveling this year, and they've canceled all the Outlaw races in California and all the ASCS races. So for me, it's all about racing with the Outlaws, and it's always been about racing with the Outlaws. But now I can't do that. So I'm very afraid to slow down. I don't want to get comfortable with racing at a lesser speed of what I felt like I was last year. So I'm trying to push myself physically and mentally more than I ever have before. And I think we're just starting to see some magic between the two of us. And I hope this is the beginning of something very special.
Wow. I mean, Dominic, you give Jimmy in that dynamic a lot of credit, but obviously you're driving. You have the confidence now of having Jimmy wrenching on the car and making decisions, but you've run the Midwest, you've run the 83 car. I mean, there's a big part of it that there's experience too.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know as well as I do, when you race with the Outlaws night in and night out, it's just ass-kicking after ass-kicking. And for me, I think that is so important because, I've yet to win an Outlaw race, and it's something that it's my dream. It's my ultimate goal of this sport. But that drive has pushed me so hard, and I felt like, we really were starting to have some success last year. We won an all-star race. We ran second. I don't know how many times at big races last year. And I'm starting to see where the less that I'm trying to force things to happen, the more that things are coming. And I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm making the right decisions. I'm not second-guessing myself. As a driver, I feel like I'm probably in the best place I've been. And as a person, I'm probably in the best place I've been. I'm kind of at this point now where I'm working full-time. Racing is now fun again. It's not really something that, I got to race well to pay my bills. Now it's like, hey, I get to go race. Instead of I have to go racing, I get to go racing. And my mindset's changed. Honestly, I feel like I'm I'm just in a really good place, and I'm seeing it in my driving, and we're seeing it in the results. We're really fast. It's early in the season, so I don't want to get too excited, but honestly, I wish I was racing 120 times this year. I just feel like right now we're quick, and I'm making the right moves, and everything's kind of coming together.
Great to hear. It really, truly is. The most recent win was Saturday night down at Peter Murphy's Hanford Speedway, down in Hanford, at Peter Murphy's place down there. 56 of the King of the Wing 360 cars. Dominic, on our podcast earlier this week, I talked about how I feel like California is ready to explode. The fact that you had 56 cars there and the fact that you haven't been racing all that much, is it ready to explode out there? And are you guys ready to get after it? And there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, despite the holdbacks that you guys have?
I'll tell you what. One, Peter Murphy has done so much to King Speedway. I mean, we're racing on an outstanding surface nearly every night. He's putting so much work into it. He's promoting. He's actually promoting. And the car count has just grown every single race. And you have, I don't even know how many race cars. I mean, there was a race in Marysville that got about 20 cars on Saturday night as well. So you've got about 50 to 60 cars around here. All they want to do is race. They're ready to race. I mean, business out here hasn't slowed down for anybody. Everyone's working. Everyone's doing all the same stuff. We're just not allowed to go racing with fans. So I'm hoping that we're coming to the end of all this stuff, because I think everyone's just, quite frankly, over it. We vaccinated our entire workforce here last week, so people are getting the vaccine. And I think people are just kind of to their wits' end on it. Obviously that we got to be safe and we have to take some special measures, but people are able to make it work in other states, and I think California is ready to take that step as well. And I know the fans are. I know the racers are. You've got a lot of people out here that are ready to race hard, and you got a lot of promoters that want to put big money up and make big races. So I think here in the next coming months, we're going to start seeing it to open back up, hopefully, and we're going to see big car counts all year long, and I'm very excited about it. I think right now the California talent is incredible. You're seeing guys that are, more or less coming home, guys like Tim Kading. You got Shane Golobic out here, Justin Sanders, Bud Kading. You got some guys that have won all across the country in all different forms of racing, and they're on their best game right now. So it's fun to race. You go to a local 360 show and have 56 cars, and 20 of them can win. You got Darren Pittman and Austin McCarl there. We're tell you what, California is really in a good place racing wise right now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, was the talent level. Having people like Shane Golobic and Austin McCarl and Bud Kading, I mean, you've got so much talent at the higher level of sprint cars. But I mentioned earlier in the show, we talked to Jeremy Elliott last Thursday, and he went on and on about the young talent in California, whether it's from the outlaw karts or whatever it is. It just seems like even with the pandemic, California is in a really good spot for open wheel racing.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you look at guys like my brother and Buddy Tofu that have come out of California, probably the most recent batch. I mean, those guys are really good. And yes, I did call him Buddy Tofu. Those guys, they're really, really good, and they're good at anything to get into. So you see those kids that are now, they're nationally racing, and they're showing their talent. You have a lot of guys that have never been given that option or haven't been given that option yet that are, in my opinion, just as talented. You got Cole Macedo now. He's going to run a full year in Ohio, and hopefully things are going to be able to open up enough, which it looks like they are, that he's going to be able to show his talent. You've got so many good guys out here, Caleb Henry, Tony Gualda, the kid that I don't even know his name. He started on the pole the last 4 or 5 races, Joel Estenson. I honestly don't even know his name, but the kid's a gasser, and he's 15 years old. He doesn't even have hair on his chest yet. And he's wide open. So I think the talent level out here in California is incredible. It's exciting because I'm not an old guy by any means, but I'm a seasoned burly vet right now. It seems like it's my 10th year running sprint cars. I'm seeing guys like this is kind of the first time I'm starting to see another generation coming in, and boy, they're extremely talented. And I think that just goes to show how good the quality of the child classes in California are. The outlaw cars, the micro sprints. They're training these kids to jump into race cars and be fast and competitive right off the bat.
Buddy Tofu?
Tofu, right?
Tofu.
Buddy Tofu.
Oh,
yeah,
Tofu.
Buddy Tofu.
Oh, okay. Is that part of his diet, is it?
No, that's just, what? Since he started racing, he was, no kidding, he was 11 years old when I first saw him drive a sprint car at, oh my gosh, Reno Tahoe Fernley, Nevada Speedway. And I was running 410s, and he was running like a Spec 305 or whatever it was. And this kid, he was up to my knees. He was knee high to a grasshopper. he was on the gas and he won the race, and I'm like, Buddy Tofu.
Yeah.
And I've just called him Buddy Tofu forever. So I don't plan on changing it. One day he's going to be racing on Sundays and or racing with the World of Outlaws, and he's going to be Buddy Tofu to me.
That's great.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
awesome. Yeah, that is cool. This Saturday night, King of the West Series kicks it off at up at where you at? Yeah, Stockton. It sounds like things are solid there as well with cars and stars and racetracks. I know the season we had Jim Allen. We talked to him. The season's backloaded a little bit, but it seems like that's looking fairly good as well. Is it, Dominic?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think that we're going to have a pretty successful season opener. I hate to keep talking about Peter Murphy the whole time, but Peter has taken the initiative. A couple years ago, Silver Dollar Speedway up in Chico got rid of their 410 weekly show. Well, he's now brought back weekly 410s. He's going to race 5 or 6 weekly 410 shows in Hanford. I think that's going to help the NARC series as well, because they're now all these 410 guys are going to have a place to race when NARC's off. So to me, I think you're going to see an average 30 car count, 26 car count of NARC 410s, and when Murphy does his local 410 stuff, I think that's going to be extremely successful as well. So, I think you're going to get a lot of really talented guys. I think they have 8 guys that are already signed up to do the whole NARC deal, and I believe all 8 of them have won 410 races to some capacity. And then you're going to have guys like Golovic and guys like Andy Forsberg and all these other guys that have won a lot of races that are going to be sprinkling in. So to me, I think it's going to be the toughest year yet that I've seen in my career of the NARC schedule, and I'm looking forward to it. 410 racing needs to thrive. I know there's a lot of people working really hard, Jim Allen and Peter Murphy and several others that are working really hard to make sure that 410s continue on here in California. And right now, I'll be honest with you, I think we're probably in a better state than we've been in a long time. And it's amazing, even though we've had Corona and all that other stuff, people want to race, and people want to race for money. So they're starting to buy 410s, and they're starting to the tides are starting to slowly change out here, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see how healthy it is. I think about when I ran the Outlaw Tour and those years, they weren't, when we would go to California, the car counts weren't strong. There was some good cars, but it's nice to see it's evenly progressed. Like you said, even through the pandemic, it's really exploding now.
It is, and that's something that I think is directly affected to the hard work of the promoters out here. There's a select few, and Jim Allen has worked really hard with NARC and Peter Murphy, taking one hell of a chance to put on local 410 racing. I think it's wonderful. We've got a local 410 race that paid $21,000 last year, one of the best paying sprint car races in the nation. And, it brought guys like Kyle Larson, Enrico Abreu, Brad Sweet, and, Carson Mosquito. If you just look at what's going on out here, it's something that's special, and I don't think it's something that's going to slow down anytime soon. I know that a lot of hopes and dreams of guys out here is, we want to be the PA posse out here. We want to be, when the Outlaws come to town, we don't want them to leave with any trophies. So I think we're slowly working towards that. It's a process to build up the car count like Pennsylvania has or like Knoxville area has, but it's steadily working that way. And it's going to be a great 2021 season.
One of the things we've talked about the present and we've talked about the young kids. One of the things that I love and absolutely love that the King of the West does is the honoring the legends. Whether it's a salute to Leroy Connett, or the Peter Murphy Classic, or the Howard Kading Classic, guys that are still with us and still part of the sport, or tributes to guys like Gary Patterson, Maury Williams, Dave Bradway, Louis Vermeil. The history, I just marvel at the depth of the history of sprint car racing out in your state, Dominic.
It is incredible. When you show up to a race like the Spanky Matthews, that in my 10 years of racing sprint cars, we haven't had a Spanky Matthews. But I remember going to Hanford and watching the Spanky Matthews Memorial. Yeah. And, my dad was friends with him. And now to put my name on that, we've been able to win a Louis. We've been able to race all these very incredibly historic races with amazing people's names on them. And some of these kids out here, they don't even know who the heck it is, but a lot of them learn fast. And, to me, I think when you put on races like the Gary Patterson or, the Peter Murphy Classic and the salute to Leroy Van Connett, I think it adds a little bit of flair that a lot of places are missing. And we're just lucky to have it. We've had some amazing drivers, people come out of California, and to be able to honor them at a lot of our events, something that I think all of us out here are very proud to do. And I think it just adds a little flair to the racing out here.
Yeah, it is really neat to see. And speaking of legends, how is your dad doing? How has he handled this whole pandemic? I mean,
boy.
how have you been able to manage him with you at home all the time?
Well, it's actually kind of funny you say that. Right when the pandemic started, a year ago now, my parents, they'd lived in the same house for 28 years. They finally bought a new home, or a newer home, and it's on, a little bit of acreage and stuff. And my dad bought a tractor, and now he's going to be a farmer. I mean, the guy is on his tractor every day. I kind of told him he needed to buy a John Deere, but he got a Kubota. But that guy, he's got boots on, he's got a shovel in his truck, and he's out there doing whatever a farmer does to his field constantly every day. Most days at work, I'll call him at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and he won't answer because he's on his tractor. He didn't even come in. So he's enjoying life right now. Man, he's having a lot of fun. My mom, she's got a trucking company that, they've been going crazy with all the loads to all across the country because everyone's been buying toilet paper and all that fun stuff. So, life has been good for the Scelzi family, and my dad has been, he's been enjoying doing a lot of different things in his prime golden age, and he's he's enjoying being a farmer. It's funny to see.
What is he going to farm? Is he going to have animals or crops, or or hasn't he decided that, or is he just digging in the dirt?
We're not sure yet. We're kind of going between a German Shepherd farm.
What?
I don't know. We might do camels. We're up in the air right now.
So what is he doing on the tractor all day?
He's mowing his field and scraping the dirt, tilling and harrowing, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you. He's laid out a go-kart track that we're going to build at some point, but he hasn't broke ground on it yet. If you ask him, he's still worried about what he's wanting to plant or what he's wanting to do, make sure there's no weeds on his property. And honestly, it's hilarious. I wish that we could have a TV show because that guy, everywhere he goes, somebody recognizes him. He's at a farm shop, and Trucker Bill, the farmer down there, he's going to know him. It's hilarious. Now he's turned into a farmer or whatever, a tractor driver, whatever the heck it is in his old age. And I say he's old, but he's just it's a new Gary Scelzi. I never in a million years would have thought I'd see my dad on a tractor. Now I don't ever see him off of one.
That is just so cool. That really is. You said German Shepherd farmer. You have Frank and Josie. How are they doing?
Oh, they're doing wonderful. It's so funny. I found Frank actually in between the outlaw races of Stockton and Placerville back 50 years ago when the Outlaws were still able to come to California. And, oh, my gosh, we have so much fun together. He sleeps with me and my girlfriend every night right in the middle in between us. And he's just the happiest dog in the world. And it's just so funny. He's got all his missing teeth, and he loves hanging out at the race shop. He goes to the race shop every day. Both of them do, Frank and Josie. But, man, they're a hoot. They're so much fun together. My dad loves them. He's been looking at getting a dog here for the last probably year now. And now that they got some property, I think it's probably going to be a little bit sooner than later. And then, my girlfriend and I, we've got a baby on the way due in July. So we've got a lot of exciting stuff going on out here. And, we're adding a two-legged dog to the mix now. So it should be pretty fun.
A two-legged dog. That's something new. That's something new.
Grandpa Gary.
Yeah, a two-legged
That's
dog.
right.
Oh,
That's Grandpa Farmer Gary to you.
Farmer, that's right, Grandpa Farmer Gary. Am I right, Frank? You say you got him kind of between World of Outlaw. He was basically a stray that landed in your lap, correct?
100%. We were actually at the Pinella's place, and what's funny is next time you guys have Donnie Schatz on, you should ask him, because we were all staying at the Pinella's place, and this stray German Shepherd rolls right up, and I'm probably had a few too many that night, and I was cutting off some steak and hot dog for this guy, and he wouldn't leave us alone. He kind of hung out with us all night. Everyone was joking around, "Oh, you've got a dog now. You've got a dog now." Well, I opened the door to my pickup truck, and Frank jumps right up, and that was kind of the end all be all. I got him out of my truck, and we got back to the hotel, and the next morning, Donnie and I, we were driving back to the shop, and he's like, "All right, here's the deal. You're taking this dog home, or I'm taking this dog home. Figure it out." And I'm like, all right, stop in at PetSmart. And he took me to PetSmart, and we went and bought food and his collar that he still has now, and his first bed. And we went back there, and Donnie and I gave him a bath, and Nikki Pinella gave him a bath, and then he's been our dog ever since. And boy, he hasn't looked back. He's just the happiest dog there is. It's funny, the next year when they came out here, Donnie saw him and stuff, and Frank rolled right up to him and gave him a bunch of love. It was pretty comical.
That is just awesome. That is just that reminds us, Seth Bergman, they got their dog in a Walmart parking lot. And
No way.
Yeah, Seth. I think they called him Lucky. Because he just walked up, he walked right, he hit the jackpot because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I actually did a photo. I think Skagit, I did a couple photos with Lucky, but I love, of course, we all love dogs. We all love pets. That's pretty neat. Well, Dominic, I'll tell you what, I love what's going on in your world, and I love what's going on in the California sprint car world.
Well,
we're so
I'll tell you what, guys, I'm glad that you guys are following it as closely as you are. I think there's special stuff out here, and always love coming on with you guys. And boy, it's fun to see what's going on out here. This is all so new. Everything out here with the new 410 races, all kinds of different stuff going on, and it's a great time to be out here in California.
Really is. Thank you, Dominic. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
There we go. We started the top of the show not knowing what we talk about. I didn't have farmer on the bingo card.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't have two-legged dogs on the bingo card.
I've never heard
a
baby referred to as a two-legged
dog. That's I didn't have a moving on the bingo card. I might have had watches. I know he collects watches.
Hoarding. We didn't know we
hoarding. We didn't have hoarding on the card. And we certainly didn't have Farmer Gary on the card. That's for sure. So the one and only Dominic Scelzi, I am telling you, I knew that Peter Murphy, and we're going to dial him up for the podcast when we get close to the Peter Murphy Classic. Maybe we need to do it sooner rather than later, though.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like he's got a few other things going on. But to have 4 or 5 weekly 410 shows and 20 King of the West Series shows, then you'll start getting these 360 guys to say, well, wait a minute, maybe we need to invest in a 410.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's right, there's 56 of them. There's 56 of them, and 20 were up at Marysville.
Yeah.
So 76 360 cars out there. Okay? The reason you don't invest in a 410 is because, well, they don't run many races.
Yes.
Well, there's 20 for the King of the West Series, and then if Peter's going to start running some weekly racing. You
start winning some 360 races, you want to run with the big dogs.
Oh,
it's
boy, I'll tell you what.
Part of it.
I am so I sensed, and I mentioned this Tuesday, I just sensed a bursting in California. Yeah. For whatever reason, my hunches were right. Dominic just kind of put a lot of the details in around the bursting on how this is looking.
Yeah.
This is so cool. So cool. It really is.
And then Dominic puts his, wording on it.
Well, spin on everything. Yeah. I'm telling you what, I'm fired up. Get the jet fired up. We need to go to California.
For real.
For real.
We need that Wing Nation jet.
We need that Wing Nation jet. Fire that up. Fire up the Wing Nation jet. We're going to California.
Over the years, Dryden has stood for uncompromised value and proven performance. Known as the hardest working brand in heavy-duty lubrication, Dryden's heritage is made in America and made to last. Dryden products work to increase the life and enhance the efficiency of your equipment in the toughest conditions. Learn more about Dryden's products at Dryden.com. From grassroots racing to NASCAR, Dryden is a proud supporter of racing everywhere.
Over 200 events from coast to coast, and they're celebrating 30 years of Scattering Soil, the American Sprint Car Series, the world's largest sprint car sanctioning body, and bringing more thrills with wing and even more non-wing action in 2021. 11 regional tours, the national tour. No matter where you are, we're coming to a track near you. Can't be there? Get dull with streaming fun with Racing Boys and FlowRacing.com, bringing all the adrenaline to your favorite streaming device. See the full lineup of events now at ASCSRacing.com.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
I'm still fired up. I'm still fired up. Well, I mean, I went out there a couple years ago, and you all have followed this show. You've heard this 150 times because it's all I talk about. I went out there a couple years ago for the Bud Kading Classic and fell in love with California sprint car racing. I had a weekend planned last year, and we all know what happened every weekend we had planned last year. And this year, the calendar is not lining up at all for California. And I've kind of got a little mission that I'm going on in Memphis, a little sprint car mission in Memphis. And in complete honesty, when I looked at this year, the uncertainty in California was kind of like, well, are they going to, do you plan and everything like that? I may have to change some plans because that sounds like things out there are great. Really does. Oh, gosh. Lucas Oil AS. Now this, I'm all fired up about this too. Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour kicks off. We've been talking about this, it seems like, for about 6 years because they were going to go to California and they couldn't go to California and they were going to do this and they're going to do that. Friday. It's happening. It is the Devil's Bowl Speedway, the Winter Nationals, celebrating their 30th anniversary. The Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour Flow Racing is where it's at. This also has that bustling and bursting because Sam Hafertepe has moved on. And so every 360 driver that's won a region and every 360 driver on the national tour is like, I'm going to win that championship. And it all starts this weekend. So I am really excited about that. This is a combo with the Lone Star region. You know it's going to be a great field of cars. You can get to Devil's Bowl, get to Devil's Bowl. If not, Flow Racing is where that's at. King of the West Series, the tribute to Leroy Van Connet at the Stockton Dirt Track. This is a 20-race schedule, heavily loaded to the tail end because we all know what's going on in California. When we last had a champion in the King of the West Series, it was DJ Netto back in 2019. He will return, it looks like. Austin McCarl's in the Tarleton 21. Justin Sanders, and that cat can drive the wheels off a race car. Tim Kading, Shane Golobic, Dominic Scelzi, as we just talked to. Bud Kading will be at a lot of the races. He mentioned, here's another one, Andy Forsberg.
Yeah.
Andy has predominantly ran 360 racing because that's all there is. You get a bunch of 410 races, you know he's going to have one.
Yeah.
And you throw him in the mix, you might find yourself scuffling for second place.
Yeah.
Because if Forsberg gets, I'll tell you, it's exciting. It really is. So King of the West Series, they have a few races in the first half of the year. It is really loaded to back. They even have the fastest 5 nights in motorsports, 5 straight nights. They have their own speed week out there.
Oh.
That's the one I was trying to go to last year. That was the one I had last year. The schedule lined up where I was off. Like Wednesday morning, boom, giddy up. I'm headed to California for 5 straight nights. This year it falls on something else. So, but that's all right. It's all good. Speaking of getting going, Attica Raceway Park, 33rd season opener. 25 events scheduled. Defending champ is Cap Henry. They've got, this is great. Rex has been looking for this, not one, but 2 World of Outlaw shows. They've had the Doty Classic for years and years, and Attica's been, hey, can we get a second? Hey, can we get a second? Hey, can we get a second? They get a second show. The Kistler Engines Classic. I like that. Paul Kistler. They don't come any better than Paul Kistler. Motors. Yeah. Paul, they don't come any better than Paul Kistler. I mean, that's just one of the good guys. And so it's the Paul Kistler Classic for the World of Outlaws. They have 5 times the All-Stars are there. The Callie's Performance Product 410 Sprints, they have a total of 17 events. 9 of them are part of that Attica Fremont Championship Series. And the Fremont Fence 305s, they have 21 events. And isn't this cool? Because we've talked about all the upcoming races and not to be overshadowed, we've got all of this talk about it. The World of Outlaws, they continue on with the Dryden, Texas two-step Friday and Saturday night at Cotton Bowl Speedway, Page, Texas. 6 races, 6 faces for the World of Outlaws.
I like it. Texas two-step.
Oh, I am so pumped up about where we're at in the sprint car world. So pumped up about where we're at. So we have had a week.
We have.
Holy cow. We had the emotional Greg Wilson on Tuesday. We had the analytical Lance Deweese on Tuesday. And then we had the wide open Dominic Scelzi today. And then coming up on Saturday on the MAV TV show, of course, if you're in Canada, you can catch this on Wednesday nights. It is our television program. And we're going to have a little sunshine.
Yep.
Tyler Courtney. Wow, because he is going all-star racing.
He is.
He's going to be
He's
tough.
convinced the Clausen.
Yes, he had to convince the Clausens to go wing racing is one step. But he is fast,
He is.
too.
He's very fast.
He is very fast. He's going to be a handful on the All-Star Tour. So, and it's ladies' night, meaning that Erin and Ashley Stremme are going to be hosting that show. So you can catch that. It's Wing Nation TV presented by Sage Fruit. Absolutely, we started the show with we didn't know what we were going to talk about. We proved to know that we knew what we were not, or not what we were going to talk about. But we appreciate Dominic Scelzi for joining us. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Dryden and by DRF Racing Oils.